Okay, now on to auditory learners. Auditory is the text or listening. So one hint is when you have an auditory learner, they can remember things better hearing it. For example, my husband's an auditory learner, and in college he would listen to his notes on a tape cassette and he'd remember it. Where I'm a visual learner, I would have to see it. I'd have to rewrite my notes all pretty. And when I was taking the test, I'd know second page, top corner, oh yeah, there's the answer. So more visual, write down notes. Auditory, they can actually remember as you're reading it. So if you're doing spelling words, the visual learner will need to write the words down. An auditory learner can just recite them back to you auditory-wise. Okay, so auditory being the text, I'm going to show you a couple of my favorite storybooks. We have so many, I don't have time to show you. But one that I absolutely love is the What If, Jonathan James and the What If Monster. What if monsters like to hang out and fill your head with worry and doubt? They're quiet and sneaky and quick as a blink, and the words they whisper can change how we think. And it goes through negative thoughts, and then Jonathan James says, now wait just a minute, I have something to say after hearing what ifs all through the day. I hear your worries, I hear your claims, but what if you're wrong, says Jonathan James. And he goes through the positive thoughts. For example, here's one of my favorites. What if I taste some of that food and it puts my mouth in a really good mood? Or what if I run in a really big race and have a great time no matter what place? Or what if the chance I take in the end is just how I find my very best friend? So this comes paperback or hardback, and you can also get a What If Monster to go along with it. It makes a great gift if you have to buy a gift for a family with all ages. I use it on the younger children, but I also use it on my teenagers in high school. So that one is one that can go a long ways. One of my other favorites is 100. I love the illustrated stories. There's a whole bunch of these. There's Shakespeare, Greek myths, fairy tales, Grimm's fairy tales. But if you can see the index on here, there are truly 100 stories in here, and they're the ones you've heard of, like Pandora's Box, The Reluctant Dragon, a lot of folk tales, Japanese folk tales, and Aesop's fables. But all the 100 stories, like The Little Red Hen, are all in here. They're 2 to 5 pages. They have little pictures on each page, mostly words, about 2 to 5 pages. Built-in bookmarks so you know right where you're at. So if you want a collection of all those great stories that children learn from, that's my favorite. It's $21.99, super heavy. The other one I like is A Tale of Two Beasts. It tells the story by her side, and then he tells the story by his side, and then they become friends in the end. So it's one of those that's fun about getting along and understanding other people. Again, $12.99 for that one. Okay, so if you have preschoolers, I would suggest my favorite book for you would be the phonics readers. Frog on a Log, Big Pig on a Dig. Here he gets bonked off his log in the fog by Hog and Dog. But the next day he puts on suspenders and tells him to bump into me. I won't roll. I have suspenders on. But the log rolls, and so Frog is, how does he say it? Frog is agog. Frog is agog. Now it is me who is silly, a silly frog after the log rolls anyway. So super fun stories. This one's $6.99, but you can get 12 of them bound together in one binding with a free CD that reads the stories for only $19.99, which makes it $1.60 a book instead of $6.99. So one way to save money with Usborne is to look for combined volumes. And there's 18 in this series, so if you get this one and another Cow Takes a Bow combined volume, you'll have all of them. They're great to read to the preschoolers because if they hear the 3 rhymes, the 3 R's, rhyme, rhythmic, and repetitive for preschoolers. Once they're past that, then they can read it, pull it out and read it again in 2nd grade. This is another one of my favorites. This is called the Turnabout Reader. There's one level reading on the top and one level reading on the bottom. So if you want to go to bed fast, you can just read the top. There's also a duck hidden on each page. But what it's meant for is in about 2nd grade, as soon as your child says, I don't want to read because it gets hard all of a sudden when they get out of the phonics and then nothing follows the rules anymore, you say, well, how about if we take turns? And you have the child read the top and then you read the bottom. So if they read the top and they get stuck on climb, you reading the bottom catches them up on the storyline. So they go into every page caught up on the story. And with my children that have done this, it's about 3/4 of the way through the book before they're like, oh, I'll read the bottom, and they're back to go and feeling good about reading. Because if they read the top and they don't get the story, then it's no fun, and so they quit practicing, and then they fall behind, and then they think they're stupid, and it's just this downward spiral, and you have to argue about homework for 12 years, and they don't go to college. That was hard to say in one breath, but it can happen. So this is a great one to catch them when they start to be reluctant readers. Okay, a couple chapter books. First, we have our very first reading set, which has 15 stories in it. And I forgot to show it because the camera's on it. What I love about this one is that progressive, in the very beginning, if your child knows, you can start them as young as you want. If they know those letters, they can read this book. And each book tells you which ones to know. So that you read this and the child reads that. And it has 3 puzzles in the end. I love this because my kids never complained about reading it 3 times. First time you read it, you do puzzle 1, second time puzzle 2, third time puzzle 3. And then the next book will add 7 or 8 more sounds. So the first 4 cover the alphabet, but it takes them through almost every single sound in the alphabet. For example, this is number 7, and it has, I'll show you which sounds are in here. Right there, those are the sounds in here. So this one, it makes hardback, makes it $4.67. These are the most durable. At breakfast, when my kids are done eating, these are the books I find out on the counter. These little sizes with the hardbacks, they last forever. Then the next thing I love is our beginning chapter books. There's a stage where the kids want to read a chapter book. This is our youngest. They absolutely love these. There's now 15 of these. Billy B. Brown for the girls. That's about into first grade, second grade readers there. There's also tons of Pony Craze Princess, Pet Vets, plenty of the mid, third, fourth grade readers that are really fun. And then one that's my son's favorite, Mythical Ninth Division, Operation Robot Storm. He read all 4 of these without any persuasion, which means it's a great book. He said he loves it. There's a few little comics in it, and they have to save the day. It's kind of a graphic novel having the comics in it. And the Yetis are the policemen, and they save everybody. Then there's another series I absolutely love is Conspiracy 365. Myself and 4 of my kids have read most of them. And you have to read January, then February, then March. So if you have a reluctant reader, maybe junior high, the cover, they'll love to read this. But my son's third grade teacher actually read it to her class as well. He has to solve a mystery while he's being chased. So it's very intense. The slogan is, don't blink, don't forget to breathe. And lastly, if you have a teenage girl, I really like Butterflies. She's burned when she's 3 years old. And now she's in high school, and this boy likes her, and she just doesn't understand why or how he can like her when she's all scarred. And it kind of talks about inner beauty, and it's perfect for any teenager. She does kiss her boyfriend in the end, but it's very tasteful, and that keeps them hooked. So it's very good. I think every teenage girl should read this one, $6.99 Butterflies. Okay, we'll go on to hands-on.